I went to an OTS store tournament again with my Traptrix decks, and I just wanted to go over the deck. I made some changes and go over the matchups. I play for my normal summons, again 3 Mantis, 3 Vermelho, 3 Mantis, 3 Pudica. I think this is still really good. You have a bit much normal summons in this deck, but you should still play them, I think, for a high chance to open these, and opening this with another normal summon is not really bad, because with Pudica you get the field spell where you can make another normal summon, and these two plus a trap are your full combo you're looking for in your turn to trigger both the Serra effects. So I think, although they are many Traptrix normal summons, I would play them. Then for additional Traptrix, Dionea can also be a normal summon, especially in combination with Pudica to revive the Pudica. And then Arachnocampa and Vesticudo. Arachnocampa, especially for the search with Mantis. I'm not sure if I want to keep Vesticudo, maybe cut it, maybe play a second Arachnocampa, because I never really use her for a special summon effect. In theory, she's good because you can go Mantis into her. If you have a trap, then you have 2 level 4, and when you go second, you can make something like any Xyz and then later Zeus, and you're not locked into plants and insects like with Arachnocampa. But it just doesn't come up that much, so I'm not sure if maybe a second Arachnocampa to have more consistent plays, or because she doesn't go minus, it's harder, it's easier to do the combos, and she protects your back row. Have to see how I keep playing that. Then the one garden for the Pudica, great card, all 3 effects are so important. Especially the one where you can revive a monster from the graveyard. It gets you out of bad board states so much. For the trap pose, obviously 3 Holotea, best trap hole in the deck. This and Serra makes the strategy playable. It's also really nice having it on your opponent's turn sometimes, because you can summon it and then trigger your Serra at any time, which is really nice. Then 2 Gravediggers. I played 2 Gravediggers, 1 Banishing, 1 Floodgate, 2 Gravediggers, because if you draw, it's less chance to draw all of them going first when you make your Raphtasia, and it's therefore easier to play around Nibiru, because the most cases you make your 5th summon are Raphtasia, and then you can, when the enemy wants to Nibiru you, just use Gravediggers with Raphtasia's effect. Those 2 are really nice, especially Banishing is so good against so many decks because they don't get their monster back. And then I decided to cut my Terrifying trap hole. I'm not quite sure if I will keep it this way, because I really like that you can activate Terrifying at almost any point in the game, which I missed sometimes today. I mean, you still can do that with Holotea, but you cannot activate Holotea of Raphlegia. So maybe I will go back to a Nightmare, I have to see, but I think strength-wise those 3 are the strongest, but maybe the versatility of Terrifying makes it worth playing, because today I cut it to play more non-engine. Then 3 Paralytic Seed, still I think the best card in the deck in terms of extenders, because all your lines get so much better with Paralytic Seed, because you can just make an Raphlegia for free or bait out a hand trap or something like that. If they imperm your Paralytic Seed, you can then use your Raphlegia effect, which is really nice. So it gives you just lots and lots of versatility. I also think it's better than the Phantom Knight trap, because it just allows you to play Serra and an additional play, not have more ways to trigger your Serra. So I really liked it. Then 3 Pot of Prosperity for more consistency, and also you don't care that much about the drawback, because the deck doesn't really draw anyways, and you do not aim to OTK in most cases. Then for my non-engine, 3 Imperms, which I didn't side out because I want traps for my Holotea. 3 Ash, 3 Nip, 2 Ogre, 1 Mourner. So the reasoning is, I think those 2 are the most versatile. You can do something against most boards and hinder them from getting up their board, which is why I chose these. This one is really nice because it can get rid of your enemy board and prevent them from having a board on your turn. I also have more hand traps like that in my sideboard, but I thought this one was the most main deck worthy. And those were just the next best hand traps I had. I chose 2 Ogre and 1 Ghost Mana because I'd rather draw the worse Ghost Mana than multiples of Ghost Ogre. Because going first, they are both good cards, very matchup dependent, and I just wanted a bit more diversity, and the other copies of them are just in the side deck. Depending on the matchup, I would side. For example, I played against 2 adventure decks today where I sided in the Ghost Ogres because it gets rid of their, I think, Rite of Aramesia is the permanent spell. Yeah. Then for the extra deck. 3 Serra for my Traptrix lineups, and Adipose, Rafflesia, Pingu, Adomaris. I wouldn't cut a Serra. Sometimes you need 3, more often than not you need 2, and if you know you don't need your third one, just use it for prosperity. But play the 3, they come up so often. Adipose for the OTK lines or clearing your boards. Rafflesia just for your going first board. Pingiculo, so nice. If you need ways with 2 level 4s on feet to trigger Serra, she's most often the best thing. And her protection from monsters with the same type as her material makes her really versatile against many decks, because you can just suck up their monsters and be then unaffected by the rest of their lineup. And 1 Adomaris just helps with the OTKs, helps to get stuff back out of the graveyard for an Pudica Banish or Memelio Destroy. Really like them. Then some utility Xyz monster. Time Thief, also for the going first boards, especially playing around things like evenly matched. 1 Zeus for clearing boards, and then 1 Baguska for more simplified board states, or if your opponent doesn't really have link monsters, you can just sit on Serra and Baguska. If they don't have Imperm or drop it to disable the Baguska, they won't really be able to play. 1 Abyss Trader against graveyard decks, 1 Cowboy for time. Then to get over big monsters and towers, I played the Utopia package. I cut the Underworld Goddess because most of the times when your opponent has a scary monster, it has some effects to not let you get to the Underworld Goddess, and you have to invest so much materials into it. This is just a clean way, 2 level 4 monsters, and you get rid of everything with 5,000 or less attack almost. Also, that the second effect that your opponent cannot activate effects when this card declares an attack until the end of damage calculation is nice against, for example, cards like Tempai, but it also came up against an Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon today. And then Salaman Great Eye Mirage. This is for, I crunched some numbers with this deck. This was before the Underworld Goddess, and she never came up, but there is about a 4 or 5% chance. The chance increases when you go into side deck and add more of the smaller hand traps, that you start with a Parallel Seed and no Traptrix normal summon. And in that case, you can normal summon your hand trap, go into Eye Mirage, summon your Parallel Seed, do a Parallel Seed line, and then you can go for what's her name, the rank 4 Pingiculo, yes, where you then search Arachnocampa and can go into your normal Serra lines, even if you didn't draw Traptrix monsters. Traptrix monster, I saw this online, really liked it, wanted to test it. Didn't come up today, but I think I will keep it in the deck for now. Maybe I want to cut card like these twos or my Abyss Dweller for something like a Typhon or an Exeter Knight. Have to look more into that and see what works best in my opinion. Then for my side deck, I wanted to play some hand traps where I could end my opponent's turn and prevent them from setting up a board when I have to go second. And the ones I chose were free draw and free shifter. Shifter disables so many decks because they can't do shit with the graveyard, and if you have a combo deck that just adds card after card, draw is really good. It just ends turns, and that's why they are here. So because your deck struggles in breaking boards, you just want to keep them on their first turn from getting a board, then you set up with your Traptrix and then you try to grind them out. Then for more standard hand traps, just against some of the, to have some variety depending on the matchup. 3 Vader, the last Ogre, the last 2 Morna. Just depending on what you need. If you need to stop effects of monsters, you go for these 5. If you want the destruction effect, you go for the Ghost Ogre. And then for going first, 3 Judgment. Didn't want to play more going first cards because the stack is already so heavy on going first. So I cut the dimensional barrier and stuff like that, or something like Threatening Roar against Tempire, which would have helped me, but I think it's still a good deck building decision to have some good going second cards in the side deck for Traptrix because your main engine is already strong enough. Then for my matchups, I played my first game against Labyrinth. He started, but there was not a single chance. The fact that my extra deck monsters are immune to trap effect made his life so hard. He didn't even go into Karma Cannons, which I didn't really understand. He always searched his welcomes and big welcomes. But I was thankful for that. Clean 2-0 went really well. He couldn't do much. I just chipped away at his back row with Memello and got rid of his monsters, and it was really, really good. Next was against Sprite Adventure Ice Barrier, which was really interesting to see. But also a clean 2-0. I could hold him down, I could get him to not get that big of a board with my hand traps, and then I just outgrinded him with my Traptrix engine. The next game was against Synchron Adventure, and in these 2 games with the Adventure engine, Ghost Ogre came in so clutch because preventing them from searching the Griffin and just having a useless token on turn 1 is really, really nice. It went 2-1 the first game. I went first, went really, really well. Nothing to complain about. Second game, he just made his board and I couldn't do shit. Was pretty quick game. And then the third game, no, other way around. The first game, he made his board and I couldn't go through. Second game, I started and he couldn't go through my board. And then third game was more of a back and forth. Was really interesting. It was really, really close in the end, but I managed to win that because he also said he made some misplays. And I could really early on banish his Jet Synchron, which was also very helpful. The next was against Tempire. I went 2-0. The guy was really good with the deck and just destroyed me. I let him go second all the time. Not sure if that's the correct way, but I don't really have that much OTK pressure if I let him go first, so I decided to just take the going first and try preventing him from getting through, but it didn't work. And then there was a top cut in this tournament after the first rounds. I got into top cut, top 4 in that case. And there I played against Plant, but I went first both of the games, but he first game evenly matched me into my board, where I was left with one Floodgate Trap hole, and I could get back a Seraph from the graveyard, I think, somehow, but it was just lost. He comboed me away and I lost that. Second game, close to that, he didn't have evenly matched. He had Dark Ruler no more, and there was just no chance. He broke my board with ease and then set up, and there was no chance of coming back. Yeah, so that was the tournament, and I'm really happy with the results, especially the 3 wins in the first round. I think the deck performed very well. I really like the changes so far. Maybe I will try out some new stuff, maybe get some Ragnar Riker cards to test them out, but for the moment I'm very happy with this pure Traptrix build. Yeah.